We're on page Kuf Samach. I'm going to read it across the top. Just across the top. Try to move along here a little bit. V'chein al derek zechat tishlum tashlim b'kavet b'shevas leil hashavua harishon lahashlim shevach halakin shebechem shechab shemkul sag shebechamisha shemus sag. Okay, let me get my brain back together again here. So we're going to also work on sag, or that is sag. So you have this, each one of these has 7 parts, and we're making a complete man. I think he says that somewhere. So moving along to number, I guess it would be Kuf Yud Aleph. There are 7 men. Who are the 7 men? It's interesting he used the concept 7 men. Shehem Sheva Malchi Adam, V'chol Adam Mehem Hu Kalu Mikol Chesheva. Every man has all 7 in him. V'chem B'Sheva B'Shvua Harishon. So therefore, when you come to the first week, Ana Mekuvanim Ba'Adam Harishon, we have the Kavanah for the first man. Shulchu Kalu Mikol Chesheva, that man has all of the 7 within him. V'chein b'shvua hasheni, ba'adam hasheni, kolu mikol chasheva. It has within it all of the 7, and you go like this every single week. Every single day. V'chein al derek zera b'zera b'kol v'shev shavuos, and the same thing is each one of the 7 weeks. Now he says, and v'nimse ki b'kol shavua v'shavua. The kavein lahashlim chamisha chava is the sag, so that's 5 times sagas, which is gets you to let's go shehem keneged habina, which is the hey rishona. So sag goes with bina, so that's the first rishona. So you multiply sag times 5. V'od chamisha nitzutz sachered the hashlim aminyan neshach, and that gets you to 320. They're anpin k'noida, because that's a good explanation of how it is that Bina gets involved in the cheshbon, because she's involved inside of Sarah anpin. V'hi nikvas hey ilor. Now, in the language that we see in the Rishash, this is called the upper hay. Ukshiniknasis mispashet is bo. He bebechinas os hay. She becomes the aspect of the letter hay. Shehi chavayad the sag, gam kain, which is also chavayad the sag, which we'll go back to that again. Kanodiki os hey rishona, bon nirmaz shem sag. Okay, so sag goes with bina goes with hey, and like that. Then it says v'al derek zecha b'sharcha chamishim sha'arim. So the same idea would be in all of the rest of the 50 sha'arim. So this is the first shar, or the first one that we deal with. Call each for each a Yudea Shorsh Nishmaso, Beza Shar Mechem. So the person who really is able to recognize the root of his neshama, so that would be his shar. Yikavi b'kavanas hashar hachul l'chelko al shevach halokim, to take that portion, divided into 7 parts. And you'll see that all of the kings are going to be in your 7 parts. B'sheva you may call shavua, v'sheva shavua sfiras ha'omer. Keneged sheva pamim adam, it goes like 7 times this man. That's the man that we're talking about, which is the 45. Keniska the el l'shecha be'eluchem iker hashak dinim. Now, I thought that in the explanation that he had previously, because here's another box chart. Let me see if I can get closer to it. So, and I have to be very careful with my camera, because if I move it too fast, it stops working. I felt that I could understand 5 of these shachs, that I could work on them, and it would be fairly simple for me. The one at the bottom, I felt like, I want to look at it again, because I didn't think his explanation was easy for me to understand. So he says that this is a shach number Vav. I'm at the bottom row of boxes, and I want to try to see if together. Actually, I looked at it last night. I was able to sort it out, but I'm not sure exactly how he did this. He says that Shisha Shemos, there are, he says what? Shisha Shemos, Kale Akya is actually, got 6 letters. So if you add those two together, you get Kale Akya is 31 and 21. It's 42. Then you take 2 Kolalim and Shisha Osius, and the 6th one, that would give you, if I got that right, 21, maybe I got it wrong. 21 and 31 is 52. Is that right? I tell you, my mind's not working so good. 31 and 20 is 51. Yeah. 31 and 20 is 51. Text, add 2 back onto it. Im base kolalim. That gives you the 54. And then Vishisha Osios gets you to 61, I guess. Have I got that right? I don't know. Kale Akia, I'm really having a hard time with this. Kale Akia im base koladim Vishisha Osios. Okay, that's what it is. That's how you look at it. Okay. So that's how it comes to be. So then the first box would be Yom Echad, would be Kale, Kale, and I think it's just the first 2 letters. So there is V'od He Chalokim. Let's just read right through it. Kale Aleph K, which is the first 2 letters of Ekya. V'od He Chalokim Ma'os Yud the Shem Kale, and then take 5 away from the name Kale. Right? Kale Ekya. Rishon for the first Kale Ekya Rishon. So how does this add up? It says Kale plus 6. So Kale is 31. That's 37. Another 8, which would give you 45. 45. So there's the 45. So Chalakim Ma'os Yud D'Shem Kale. Now you took 5 out of the name Kale. And then you go to, that's from the Shem Kale Akya. Okay, Akya goes together in this thing, Harisham. Okay, I'm trying to get through this. My mind is really getting a little cloudy. He says, Beis Chalokim, the Yud, the Yud, so 2 portions of the letter Yud. So we took the Yud Me'ez, he took 8 out of the first Yud. And then he has 2 left over. 2 halachim, the yud, v'chein hey, I think is what, hey de akya, that's 7, a rishon. And then kale is 31, it gives you 38. And the aleph kale, which is, and then rishon, a rishon, kale, and then he has 31 plus 6 is 37. V'cheluk echad miyud d'shem kale ekya the kale ekya hasheni. Boy, I really did good job. I had it better last night. So he says that he takes the beis chalakim the yud, so the 2 left over of yud plus the letter hey means 7 for the hey rishona, and then kale, which is 7, and 31 is 38, and then 6, aleph K, and makes 44, and V'chelek Echad Miyud, 1 portion of that Yud, the Shem Kale, Ekya, Hasheni. So you take the portions of this and that and mix it together. It has to be looked at more, but try one more. He says, Tesha Halakha, so you took 1 away from the, Yud, the Shem Kale Ekya, which is the Yud in Ekya, I guess. Tesha Halachim, the Yud, so they take portion, then you have the other 9. V'chein, hey, the Ekya, that makes 14, Hasheni, of Kale, then you take the Kale, so what have I got here? He says you have 9 plus 5 is 14, plus Kale is 31. That's 45. The Kale Ekya Shlishi. So there's another 45. I don't know, I'm hoping I'm not boring with you with this, but I had trouble with it, and I'm getting very nervous all the time here. So Ekia Dekale. So then the next one is going to be Ekia Dekale. You take the Ekia of Dekale Ekia, Hashlishi. So take the Ekia that's 21. And then he says Aleph and Kof Gimel Holokim the Lamed. I don't know what the Aleph is doing there. So let's say you had, what did they say? You said Eki has 21, and then you have 23. 21 and 23 is 44. And there's an Aleph there. I guess it came from somewhere. I'm not sure. The Lamed, so you take those out of the Lamed Dekale Ekia Harivi. Then the next one is Zion. And this is to look at it over and over and over again and get it right. Number Zion, then you say there's another 7 halachim to that Lamed. V'chein Ekia, so take that onto the Ekron, which is V'chein Ekia, the Kale Ekia. So then the 21 plus the 7 is 28, Harivi. And then you have an Aleph, which I guess is 29. And then you add on 16. 29 and 16 is too much. 29, 39, and 6 is 45. It is right. Chalokim, the Lamed, the Kale Ekia Chachamishi. Okay, I hope you're still with me because it's not that easy for me. I'm not that good at math. So you take Yud Dalet portions then of the Lama that we've been working with. V'chein Ekia, then I think that's an Ekia, V'chein Ekia, Dekale Ekia Chachamishi. Then you take the Ekia, so what did you have there? You had Yud Dalet plus 21 is 35. Then you have Aleph and Tov. You have an Aleph and a Tov. Chalokim, I don't know what the Aleph, I'm not sure why we get the Aleph in here in this formation, but if you take another, that makes 10. So what do we hit? 35 and 10 is 45. The Lamed Dekale Ekia Hashishi. Then the last one is going to be a little bit harder, or let's say maybe a different, say take 21 Chalokim that are left over from the Lamed. V'od Ekia, so that's 21, and another Ekia, Dekale Ekia, that will give you a Shlishi, that will give you 42. Then you need more. V'od Beis Kololim, that gets you 44. Umispar, and now this I don't understand really, I guess it's another one, however that is, but he says Umispar, Shisha Osius, Dekale Ekia, the 6 letters of the Dekale Ekia. Did I add that up wrong? He had 21 Chalokim of the Lamed. V'od Ekia, so that's 21 and 21 is 42, Dekale Ekia, Hashishi. And then you take 2 more, that gets you 44. And then he says, Mispar B'shisha, so I guess just the Mispar is 1. I guess that's how he's saying it. It comes out to be 45. Or is it supposed to be, I missed something, and this number is supposed to be 50. Let's try one more time and see if it comes out to 50. He said 21 and 21 is 42. Plus 2 colon, that's 44. And then you add on to the 44, you add on 6. That's right, it's 50. Okay, thank you for your patience and letting me work through that, because I think it's much better in this Sefer than it was in the blue book, at least more clear to me. Let me get a little drink here. Okay, now, let's go over to the next page, because the page after that contains in it, I think we have enough time, it contains in it the secret of Malchut. Just as long as he was at it, might as well throw that in. Now let me see if I can lift up this very carefully, my camera, get it focused. Okay, so we go over here, is a Kavana Kalalis, Lakavun, Lahashpia min Hadacher al Hanok Kol Shavua Lefi Bikina. So maybe you can answer this question that very obviously here. He says that the idea, he's going to say this, the idea is that you take the Chagat Naya Zah, and you're going to put you're going to take that Shefa and you're going to put it in Chagat Naya, the Nook. So I'm thinking that all throughout the shefa that we're pouring is not coming from the Chagat Nai, it's coming from the Chabad Chagtam. So I'm trying to understand the sequence of which goes where and which place. I understand what he's going to say. Let's read what the Rav says. So the Od Yesh Gavana Cherev Be'inyan Svir B'Sa Omer L'tzarek T'Chavin L'Hashpia Min HaMemtes Yamin Dechorim. So who no idea? Turns out there are 49 male days. El Memtes Yamin Nukvim, another word from Zer Anpin into the Nuk. So what it's ultimately trying to do is bringing it down to our level, which is like Malchus. So then the idea is you're pouring downwards. Bechesed ad Malchus. Which is this whole concept is the concept of the male concept. The concept is Zohar Shefa Me'ela B'Dechura, Latata, which is where the Nuk is. So that's the nature of the relationship is like that. I'm not sure exactly if I want to read something in here. Kuf Yud Zayin, Kuf Yud Tazvav. Let's look at Kuf Yud Zayin. I think we have enough time to get to the other one, I hope. So he's just spelling it out, really. Which is the Bechina Tachtam. Now he starts into this idea now. Who shava the Seder Hamshacha shal Chasad v'Gavur shenis ba'arach b'da'era b'drash Yud v'nis b'ayr Sham sheseder his pashas Chasadim hu shehem nimshach and mispashnim b'sheves Sfiras Zer Anpin. So they go into the 7 Sfiras of Zer Anpin. Now, ultimately, we've been saying it, which part of my confusion is that Tiferes in the Chabad Chagtam actually includes everything, but we don't count the Nai, and we don't count Malchus. I guess we count Malchus. We don't count the Nai. We don't count Keser. That's it. So he said B'Sheves Sfiras Zer Anpin until we reach Shavuos. So now he says Chamisha Chasadim Mispashtim B'Sfiras Chesed. So there's 5 Chasadim B'Sfiras Chesed Gevurah Tiferes Netzach Hod. So he's going a little bit review here. V'Kalalusam, and then you have the kola and the kola of the kola, which goes into so b'Yisod. V'Klalos Shnia b'Malchus the Pratis is there Anpin Shulchan Teres Yisod Shalom. Now this is what we want to get into now. Is this a Teres Yisod of Zer Anpin? All of those spheres nechlachas the sheva spheres pratis, which is each one has a chagat nehem inside of it. Both in shehem mem tes bechinos, in the way that there are 49 different aspects. 7 times 7. V'kenegdem yeshnam mem tes bechinos b'chasadim, and then there's going to be 49 bechinos of chasadim. Called echa b'sheva bechinos chasadim nechlach l'sheva bechinos pratios. V'kol yom nimshach b'china achas pratis. So every day there's a different aspect of those 49. Shachasadim is spheres achad b'pratis is their anpin. It's going to be the day for everyone. Is going to be its own day, whatever that means. Let's see how it goes. So now he starts into this idea, and on the next page, let's see how much time I got. I got time. So let me go. Not so nervous. I'm a little nervous all the time now. So this is also the way the Hamshacha goes here. That the idea is to Hamshech, the Mamshech. Shef of Ha'ara Mememtes spheres from the 49 spheres of Pratis is their Anpin. Once again, they are also known as Chagat Nehim. Hanechlochim call Achad the Chagat Nehim. The mem test spheres of pratius the nok. You're going to be, that's the whole idea. Shehem chagat nehim pratius the chagat nehim. Same idea. You're going to have 49 spots to fill in there. So he says this is shefa zocha the nok. V'cham shocha ki misfira the zer anpin the sphere the nok shkenegdo. B'kol yom nimshach b'china achas kagon b'yom arishon meguvana the hamshach ha'aram misfiras chesed the chesed the zer anpin the spheres chesed the chesed the nok v'chem chala. So understand that actually the overall view of what we are trying to accomplish. So the first thing he's going to go through, and I think maybe as we get through this, I haven't read all the way through, he's going to go into details. I don't know if we want to do that. We'll see. We'll have a little time. And then after that, he's going to go into the details as he's going to go through that. Now, we come to this section here where he's going to talk about the creation of Malchus, which I think is very important to my brain. I can remember when we were learning this, Rabbi Memran gave us this huge book that I brought back from Israel, which had that possible cure based on the number 160, that concept of 160 plus 1, or whatever that was. We don't look at it anymore. But over there, he started talking about Malchus, and I still did not have the whole idea. Where does Malchus come from? So here he says, like the V'chein b'shvua rishon, Yekhavin l'chashber b'chesed shebezachar el chesed denukva. Ad shvua shviyis, there you're going to be lashpia min b'chinas the Malchus shebezachar. Shehir b'chinas shenishar min in the cave of mishrashas bezachar. Let's go over this word again. He said l'chashpia min b'chinas a Malchus shebezachar. It turns out that the male also has a Malchus. What is the Malchus of the Zachar? This is the aspect of that remained from the Bishana Min Hanakeva that was really a part of him, Zohar, which she was always rooted in the Zohar because she was a Pasiya the Bar, right? She was a part of him. So she was like that. Besod Simeni Kachaisim, make me like a seal. So what does that mean? She was sealed up in him no matter what. In Malchus Shabo, that he has his Malchus, is going to be Mashpia ala Malchus v'Shabenukva. So what he said over here, and he could spell it out better in the Tiv, what he said over basically here is that the root of Malchus is in the Zohar. That's why I hear it. And naturally you have a natural connection. Since our root is there, so we have to think about this. So he says, "Haseder hu shebekol shavua nimshach ha'ar l'sfira achas klalis denuk." So that's where we're going. That's the idea. You count number today is 31. I forget I can't think straight. Today would be Tiferes of Hod. So we're in Hod, right? The whole week is Hod. Hod is baked in. So whatever it is. So klal is the denuk. B'shvua rishon nemshechas ha'ara misviras ha'chesed zer anpin. So in the first week, there is a flow of this ha'ara that comes from the chida that's going to come out of the chesed zer anpin, and it's going to serve as chesed denuk. That's the first idea. V'kach b'kol shavua. So every week is going to be like that. Yekavin l'chamshim b'sfira acheres ad sheb'shavua hashvi. So when you get to the seventh week, this is where you're at now, the Malchut Zer Anpin, and Nikras Ataras Yisod has this word. This is a famous word here, the Ataras Yisod, because they're constantly saying that the Malchus is really made out of the Ataras Yisod, Zer Anpin, the Spheres of Malchus Anok. So in other words, you have this connection. So he says, and let me just bring this in. He said, Mevarach Rav Khan, as Seder Bechinas Ataras Yisod, Zer Anpin. This is the thing, this is a thing, a secret that I wanted to hear for a long time, just spelled out. Here it is. It is his Malchus. So we understand there's more than one Malchus. There's a Malchus in Zer Anpin, there's a Malchus of the Nuk, which is a separate part. Which is really the tip of his Yisod. Which is always there. It has been rooted inside of Zer Anpin. That's where she comes from. The beginning, when the Spheres came out, I think maybe it means Olam and Akudim, I'm not sure. Let me, 1 second. Is a vok. I know there was a Pasil the bar. I threw that in. I don't know if he says that there. So she, at this time, is only one element, one sphera of herself, one, what we call it, what's pratis mean in this case? One part of her 10 spheros, and which part is that? The top part. And at this point, she's actually an aspect of him. She's stuck on him. We use the word devuka, b'yisod dezer anpen. So, see, devuka means like if it's davek, it could be also not davek. I guess that's what I mean. It's just like it's za is this is the b'siyah devar, levar. This is the b'siyah devar. She is attached to him. I don't want to say stuck. But say attached to him. Va'achar kach be'ez hatikun. Then a tikun comes along. Nifredis a malchut b'zer anpen v'na'aseh parts of la'atzma. Now, I'm not hearing exactly how she becomes. There's still more to note to this. But he says that she is attached to him until the tikkun comes. The tikkun is a total rebuilding here of the partsufim. Nifredis amalchut b'zer anpen v'na'aseh parts of la'atzma. She becomes an independent parts of them. But in any case, nishar b'yisod b'zer anpen b'chidas shorish and malchut shuchu b'chidas ataras yisod. There's always a root within Zer Anpin himself. There is a female aspect of Zer Anpin, which is the root, this is very interesting, which is the root of what the Nook is. V'hu b'chinas rishimu, she'iru sham ha'malchut b'yisod Zer Anpin. In Zer Anpin, she'sham chosid devuka dehila, because that is her first place. This is where she was. She was the Pesiyah the bar. That we go all the way back to that gestation period. If he ended Mishima, and and he specifically says, so not to get confused, because did we lose it? Did I use it, Rabbi? Uh-oh. I ran out of time. What time is it? We still got time. You lost the phone. Let me just stop this. Hopefully he'll come back, and we'll pick him up. So, we have just a few lines. We're on number Kaf over here. So he says, I just want to point out in our 1 minute, maybe you'll give me a minute and a half. So this is an aspect of her that remains behind. Because this is the place where she was originally attached. So he says that the original attachment right there, that interface between she and he, remains. The interface remains, which means that she's an aspect of him. That's the way it is with the seal. Anytime it touches a place, it's like a glue. Something like that. There is an interface there, and it's stuck onto, or attached, the better word, attached to the original location. Nishar Sham Rosham, there's going to be a Rosham remains. Kach called Makom Shahoise Bo Ezecha Bechina Gedusha. Nishar Sham Rishimu Afla Achis Stalchos, there still is going to be something there even when it's gone. Now, he hasn't discussed exactly how the Nook in the, I know we learned Shar Atak, and it's plenty hard, and I don't recall, I went through it recently, I don't recall really talking about how Malchus is formed, but maybe I have to look again. This is Zer Anpin's 10th sphere. The it was only her kasser, it's her very top part, Shalah Nikras Atara, and that's the reason why it's called a crown. The Chena Bechina Shinishar Zer Anpin Nikras by the name Atara Sayisod. That's it. Set out that idea, and Baruch Hashem. Thank you for learning with me today. Kol Tuv.